Okay, cool. So I shall begin with the reading of the recap. Being the events of Wednesday, 13 September 1893, afternoon. The investigators make sure to tell Henri to let Baron von Hoffler know they are waiting for him. Everett makes sure to observe the Baron's arrival on the Orient Express. While watching, he notices the Baron arguing with a young woman whose familial resemblance can leave little doubt that the woman is his daughter. The Baron, however, boards the train alone. An additional private car is added to the Orient Express to accommodate the Baron's stateroom. Once the Baron is settled in, he meets the investigators in the dining car. They agree that these matters are best left to discuss in private, and he invites them to his stateroom. Everyone meets the Baron, and they retrieve the fez as well as the whispering fez, which was left in Henri's care. The Baron is most pleased with their attaining both the fez and the book, and sets to work on reading it immediately. Unfortunately, the Baron's own notes do not add anything additional to the Apocrypha of the fez. As the Baron is ostensibly reading the whispering fez in an undertone, all of the investigators, save Vyacheslav, fall into a mesmeric trance. The Baron then admits that he cannot read the book. Only Professor Demir knows enough of the dead language to do that. But he does not believe they should wait. They need to experiment with the blood-red fez right now. He plans to place the fez on one of the investigators whilst they are in a mesmeric trance, and then use that state as a conduit to learn about the fez's powers. As the Baron is clearly insane, Vyacheslav tries to take the book away from him, but the Baron then summons gendarmes he has hidden in another part of the stateroom to come out and hold Vyacheslav at gunpoint. Everett, who is standing guard, runs into the stateroom and sees the standoff. Henri also comes rushing in upon hearing the commotion and advises them to turn the book over to the Baron. The Baron claims the book was stolen from him and then sold illegally, and whilst Henri cannot prove otherwise, he knows the investigators did not come to possess the book legally, cannot afford an international incident over a book. On the way back to their compartments, Henri, aiding Everett and Vyacheslav to bring their trance friends with them, Vyacheslav makes an impassioned plea for Henri to look into the Myers compartment and see that there is something supernatural going on. Henri finally acquiesces. Suddenly, Salvador says he has an idea and runs out of the compartment and races towards the Baron's stateroom. His objective: attempt to convince the Baron to use Myers for his experiments. It is now 10 o'clock p.m. Now, that ended right on time too. So unless I'm mistaken, Edmund was trailing behind Salvador, correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so we have, as far as I can remember, Everett and Vyacheslav are in the compartment with James Ambrose and Daniel. And then we have Salvador, who trucked out of the room with Everett, and Henri yelled, "No fire!" after you. As you started heading towards the stateroom. Okay, great. So they go running out of the compartment. What you guys, that is Vyacheslav and Everett, will pick up with you guys first. So you guys are kind of sitting there like, okay. And at that moment, Daniel kind of like gives a shudder and just kind of slides back on his bunk and has a glazed look on his face. And Henri is like, "Mon Dieu, your friend seems to be taken ill."
What the hell's wrong with him? I look at
him. He appears to have fallen back into the mesmeric trance. He seems catatonic.
And now he got caught into the trance with von Hoffler, right? He was one of the ones. Mm-hmm. Well, that ain't good. It's recurring.
Not quite sure what to do here, Everett.
This is worrisome. Extremely worrisome.
I look at the door and the window as well, and listen carefully.
Okay. You make a listen check.
Okay.
Oh boy. Nice.
Here we go.
Nice.
You can hear someone approaching your compartment.
I think we got company here, Vyacheslav. Better get yourself armed.
I pick up my Smith & Wesson off of the bed, which I had thrown it there, out of frustration earlier, but, I make sure it's loaded and, just tuck it right back on my hip again.
Okay.
Because I don't think you ever said that they took our weapons.
They did not. The gendarmes did not. They did not take your weapons.
I pull out my revolver.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to take position just to the right of the door.
Okay.
Inside the chamber, you know what I mean? So that I can
So
kinda
when the door
keep an eye out.
opens, you're behind it?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so then I'm going to actually act like I'm just having a normal conversation with Henri. Henri, I need you to act natural. You understand?
I will
Clean
try.
something.
I don't ever spend any time in the compartments. This is not my area. They're gonna know. They're gonna know.
I mess up my bed. And I'm like, here, straighten this.
Put
So the
a
door
blanket.
turns.
Put a blanket over Daniel Daniel.
Oh yeah, shit. Throw a blanket.
So you throw a blanket over there.
Yeah.
The door slowly opens, and in walks Nigel, and he's kind of looking down. And he has some evening clothes for Edmund. And he's like, "So I brought you some. God, what's going on here?"
Nigel.
Nigel, come on in, Nigel. Shut the door behind you.
Scared the daylights out of me, sirs. Shuts the door.
No more you than us. Christ almighty, Nigel. I holster my gun.
I pull the blanket back over Daniel, just under his chin, so that he's at least breathing.
He's drooling.
Nigel, I have some potentially bad news.
Oh dear, what is it now?
Mr. Gore has run off with Salvador over to the Baron's room again. And some bad things went down in the Baron's room. He is not on our side. Do not talk to him. Do not talk to the French police. It is a bad situation.
Perhaps it'd be best if I retrieve James and send him after them.
Yes, absolutely. Send James along with them. Tell him to keep his distance, though, in case anything goes wrong.
At once, sir. So he runs out of the compartment to go. You can hear him knock on the door and kind of get James, tell him to put on his knuckle dusters and head over there.
As for the two of us and poor unconscious Daniel here, what are our plans?
Well, we can't leave him here alone.
And there's no way we will get within 100 yards of the Baron's room.
Hell no. I think we might have to hope for the
Monsieur,
best.
I thought we were going to go to the Myers compartment.
That is right. Yes, I remember now. It is a momentary lapse of forgetfulness. It happens. It is alcoholism problem.
It's quite all right. Almost ready, but Monsieur, if I may have a cigarette first. Calm my nerves. So with a shaking hand, he takes a drag of his cigarette. And
What do we want to do with Mr. Myers?
Show what he looks like to Henri.
Right, just so he can
However, our locksmith is out of commission. And I just kind of look at him while I give him a couple pats on the face, "Hey, wake up!"
Henri waves that away. I have the master key.
Yes, you do.
But of course.
Henri, you will, as soon as that door opens, you will want to get back. Do we have a way to keep light on? We need to keep the door open so that light floods into the room from the car, but we also need some kind of handheld light of some sort.
I will fetch a lantern.
Quickly, we have not much time.
Wait. Put the cigarette
Smoke. I was gonna say smoke while you go.
out. No, the passengers cannot see me smoke, sir. I feel very comfortable around you. Passengers cannot see me smoking. So let us cut to Salvador and Edmund. So you are making your way through sleeping car number 2, on your way towards the stateroom, when one of the doors slams open, and a door behind you slams open, and you are now between 2 of those creatures that was like Pook.
Oh shit!
No. Okay, no, you know what? Like at that moment, like Salvador's going to stop like that on his tracks, seeing the creature in front of him. He's just going to say, "Oh no, no! I do not have time for this shit." Bang.
So now these things are not dressed either like Myers or how you saw Pook. They're dressed in like probably traditional Middle Eastern garb. So you surmise that these 2 creatures
The other
must
2
have
that
been
we haven't seen.
the other 2 cultists, yeah,
Yeah.
that have now been turned into creatures of the Fez. So the good news is they're butt slow. So what is your dexterity, Salvador?
70.
Okay, and what is your dexterity, Edmund?
60.
Okay, so you are both faster than these things. So you get your shot off, so you can blast away, man. The car, you have to remember, so it's 10 o'clock at night. The car is quiet and dark, except for the lantern that you have in your hand. So when you fire this, like the muzzle flash is going to light up the whole car.
Nice.
Hey, that's a hit.
Nice.
Now it's 1d10 plus 2. Which one was the d10? You. Hey, that's 11 points of damage.
Nice. Let's see. Okay, so you blast. What did you fire?
A revolver.
Yeah, that thing is strong.
I just
So
have a
you
Derringer.
You blast a giant hole in its shoulder. But it doesn't stop the thing from closing in.
So Edmund hears that rear door bang open, and he turns around to see this creature coming out at him, and he yells out to Salvador a shout of warning. Salvador, one of the creatures behind us, and he starts stepping backwards towards Salvador, kind of back to back, as he draws his Derringer out of his waistcoat, I guess, and fires at it. And
that's a crit.
Success.
Damn.
Nice. That's a crit. So I think that means it automatically does full damage, no?
Yeah, it does. Which is 6 points.
Now, is the Derringer reloadable, or is it just one shot? And
no, it's reloadable. I actually have 2 shots, and I can fire both in the same round. So I'm going to fire my second one.
Okay.
And that is a hit as well.
Nice.
Ugh.
Okay. So you
Yeah, his gun really isn't like a boom. It's like a pop, pop.
you give it a substantial hit, but it staggers. It basically, these guys, it's gonna look a little laggy for your side, but like when you hit them, they're like slamming off the walls as they're coming at you. Like you hit them with like just like viscera flying everywhere. Oh, first of all, I need for you to make sanity rolls.
Just for clarification's sake, this is not in the same sleeping car as Everett and Vyacheslav, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Right in the bloody money. Oh.
So, Ben, I am temporarily insane.
Yeah, so you're going to take a penalty die on your roll.
All right. So, 1 penalty die. Yeah, not even close.
Oh, no.
This is not going to go well for Edmund, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This is a massive amount of sanity loss.
Oh, God.
So, okay, so
How much?
Oh, you lucked out. You just lucked out. Salvador loses 1.
Okay.
And Edmund, you lose 2.
Oh,
Wow.
I can deal with that.
That would have dropped you had I rolled over a 5.
Oh.
I think at this point you probably would just start firing your gun at everything, including Salvador. You'd just be like spinning in circles.
It's empty at this point, so.
So the first one.
So
I'm
I'm
gonna try to dodge.
definitely insane at this point.
Okay, so this first one misses.
Oh, thank fuck.
The second one hits.
Oh no.
For a
Dodge.
Total 5.
Edmund. Dodge.
Against me.
And Salvador.
Oh. I was gonna say
It
I'm
is
dead.
now Edmund. So that's 5.
Yes.
I beat your roll for the
Oh.
dodge. So you only take 1 as well. So 1 attack does 6.
Oh.
To me?
6 to you and 5 to Edmund.
I'm at 0.
Oh, my. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I think I'm dead.
So Salvador, what would you like to do?
Well, I mean, I am a size 40 dude, so, like, I would definitely be more nimble. Like, how much of the hallway do these guys fill up?
You can muscle your way past them. I mean, they're normal-sized people. They're just, got the tongues and all that stuff going on.
Huh. Then let's see. You know what? How stable do they look? As in, do they look like they're shambling types, or do they look like have a solid grip on the floor?
Okay, yeah, so I would say, yeah, they're definitely shambling, and you've blown off chunks of both of them, but they do not seem, it's impossible to tell, actually.
All right, man.
Their state
What
of
I'm gonna
mind.
do, basically, I'm gonna try to, run past the one in front of me, but, run
Okay.
past by kicking it on one of the legs, try to make it fall into the ground, and, run
Okay.
past it. Would it be brawling?
I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say you're going to take a penalty die on the brawl. I'll let you succeed in the run past. If you fail on the brawl, it gets a swipe at you. If you succeed, we're going to say that you were able to jump over it or something as you move past it.
All right.
Hey.
You're basically doing a hockey hip check. So you made a hard success, but you needed to roll a penalty die, so I'm going to ask you to re-roll that with 1 penalty die.
Okay.
And takes the higher of the 2, which you still succeeded.
Nice.
So I'm going to say you succeed and I'm just going to move your guy, and you succeed in moving forward at this point. So you make it to this door, which is not the door the creature came out of. The door opens quickly, and the woman who was wearing the purple kimono and had all the makeup opens the door, and she grabs you by the lapel and pulls you into the room and shuts the door.
Oh no! I mean,
Now
that's
the question
good
is,
and bad, maybe.
I mean, like, see, at this point, like, there's adrenaline kicking, but like at the same time, it's like, what the fuck? So, like, how does she have me like completely immobilized, or is she like let me go once she pulls me?
Her concern after she throws you into the room is to shut the door at that point.
Okay, then, as a gesture of goodwill, I will aim my pistol at the door instead of at her.
Wrong person. Okay. So you hear the creatures kind of moving, and now James enters the scene. So James enters, and he sees Edmund lying on the floor, just gushing blood.
Yep.
And he sees these two creatures approaching the thing and banging on the door, and there's just like blood everywhere on the hall, going down the hallway. So what is James's dexterity?
60.
So you are faster.
Okay. And also, as far as Edmund is concerned, because he's suffered more than half his hit points, he's received a major wound, so he's considered dying at this point. He needs to make a con check every round. If he ever fails it, he dies. The only way that stops is if someone gives him first aid, which will give him 1 hit point. At that point, he's still not out of the woods. He still needs to make a con save every hour until he gets medicine. And
so
then,
James has a very tough choice ahead of him.
Yeah.
He can either run past Edmund and try and take out these two things, or he can administer first aid.
Yeah. So I think Ambrose is going to run up to Edmund and see if he can help him, because he's right in front of him there, and he sees him, kind of bleeding out all over the floor, and that's his first immediate thought. He has his pistol in hand in case those things try and come charging down the hallway, but he'll come running up to Edmund and be like, "Edmund, old man, they got you. They got you good."
So I would say,
I'm not gonna lie, it looks bad.
Edmund can't even respond. He's just like, So, you're fast enough where you could probably do something at this point. James can do something.
Okay. Can I attempt to make a first aid check quickly and see if I can?
Sure.
Do anything to save his life?
Well, before you do that, James must make a sanity check.
Okay.
Because this is some really, and he's going to have a penalty die on this because this
Sorry,
is,
let me re-roll that then.
This is way out there. Because I think this is the first time James has seen them, and this is
the first time he's seen them. Yep.
This
so
is
he failed.
Way out of control. Okay.
Watch, he's gonna pass out.
Yeah, it's 5.
Does he actually pass out?
So here's what I'm going to ask you to do.
All right.
Make a power check, and we'll say like his willpower might be enough where he can overcome the sheer craziness
insanity of the situation,
or just overcome passing out in general.
That'll do it.
Well, like some people in like super stressful situations, they just get totally calm until they're out of it. Like in a car accident, like a horrible wreck, like they walk away and then they fall to pieces after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sees everything that's going on here in front of him, and everything just goes into slow motion. He's like an automaton, like just going through the motions. The first aid kit comes out, and he's sort of like half paying attention to what he's doing because there's these two monsters down the hall, like banging on the door.
I'm going to give you a bonus die on the first aid check because he's using tools.
All right.
Push it.
Yeah, I think I might have to.
CPR time.
Come on, thump! He's like pounding him in the chest.
Come on, you're the one that pays my bills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he failed.
Okay, so then you need to make a con check for Edmund.
All right, con
Here
is
we
not
go,
my
guys.
Save or
Here
die.
we go.
50 or
Save
less
or
is what I
die.
think, gentlemen.
Save or die.
Oh.
No.
Edmund's croaked. Our first loss.
No.
Bummer.
Edmund.
I was not
So
expecting an ambush.
Edmund's laying on the floor and he's just like blood comes splattering out of his mouth and he just kind of rolls over.
So the creatures
gone.
take that opportunity to jump on Edmund's, trample Edmund's body and attack.
Just to rub it in.
Yeah.
So,
I pour one out. Pour one out for him.
So, Salvador, from your perspective, all you can hear is the creatures kind of like shuffle away, and you just hear you can hear James just screaming in the corridor, like, no. But the woman is telling you, shh, don't make a sound.
I mean, I will respond to her like, why are you helping me? Do you know what these creatures are?
No, I don't know anything about this nonsense. My father is the Baron. You're going to help me get him off this train.
Really? She's
Wait,
not
what?
on.
Lady.
Oh, so she.
I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
I literally, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I was like looking at my character sheet, like, what am I gonna? And then, like, somewhere in my brain, it like went through.
Wait a second.
Lady. No, my response will be, lady. Those creatures are like. Your father almost turned one of us into one of those creatures. Now, granted, he's not doing it out of, malice. I think he's just lost it, wanting to fight those monsters. Like,
I'm sorry.
We need to knock some sense into your father. Wait, now that I think about it, he wanted to know the effects of the fez. Of course. We need to find a way to disable those creatures and bring them to him. Maybe that'll get him to stop whatever insanity he's got planned.
Whatever nonsense, you're wrapped up with my father. I know you're one of his flunkies. I don't care. You're coming with me. And she pulls out a syringe. And she holds it up. Says, let's go. Okay, now we're going to cut to the hallway. And the creatures are going to attack James. So the first one. Okay.
Wait, there is one more thing that I would have probably told to the lady before, she went out. Do you know first aid? And, he kind of, opens his thing to show, the fucking blood, running down his chest.
She's like, oh, for Pete's sake. She pulls out a bottle, and she opens it up and puts some on a cloth. Here, put this on the wound.
I do that, and I hand her the lantern. And,
okay, so as you drift into unconsciousness because you just put chloroform on an open wound, and it seeps directly into your bloodstream, you pass out.
Bitch!
Okay, so this creature is going to attack James. And he succeeds. Bad news is it's 9 points of damage.
Good God! I have 2 hit points
you can
left,
try to dodge, right?
and I've suffered. Oh yeah, I can dodge, right?
Yeah, you can try dodge.
And I'm
I don't know if you're going to
actually
beat my roll, but you can try.
You never know.
Roll a 1. That's
How about
not a
a
1.
32?
That's close.
That's good roll, but not low enough.
All right, so I
so-
actually think I need to make a con save.
Alrighty, so the second creature can't do much. I'm going to say that so that woman runs and slams the door behind her. Let's grab her
Huh?
token. Let's get a token for her.
What image is this
Mystery
again?
woman.
It's the sleeping car?
Yeah, salon sleeping car plan.
Okay, there we go.
There you go, Shane.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had to close it to pull up my character sheet.
Yeah, it's not. There we go. Okay, so she starts running down the corridor, and we'll say the second creature starts chasing after her.
Fitting that you gave her the sequence, saying that she's been a cunt.
Let's cut from here and cut back to the other sleeping car now. Okay, so after 7 or 8 minutes, Henri returns back with 2 lanterns. Okay, I am ready.
I'll take one of them there, Henri. Hold one up.
Why don't we have a lantern at the front and a lantern at the back? And since Henri needs to be opening the door, he should probably sit at the front. Is that good with you, Everett?
That works for me. I'll hang back.
Alright, I will... At this point, I don't even give a shit. I just have my gun drawn, ready to go.
Me too. And I'm keeping an eye on the back, like, rear guard, watching the back as we progress down the hallway.
Okay, so you make it to the Myers compartment without incident. Henri knocks on the door. Oh, actually, we'll say, while you guys are talking, Daniel kind of comes out of his trance.
What
Well.
in the name of all King George?
Nice of you to join us there, Fleetfoot.
Yes, you
All right,
fell
Danny
asleep
boy.
at a rather convenient time. We were getting ready to leave without you. Get your ass up, come on.
Nighttime?
Vyacheslav undoes his flask and he takes a long swig, because this is not going to be good. He has a feeling.
I reach up and I give him kind of a wave towards the flask, like, I might need some of that to get up here.
Yes, here you go. And drink up.
Purification.
I take it and I take a large swig and, I kind of cough because, it's Russian swill, so, not quite what I'm used to. So I hand it back to him.
Take a look.
Come on.
I offer him a hand to, pull him up out of bed if he needs it.
Yeah, I clasp your hand and, pull me up out of bed there as I clench my side, my wound.
Alright, up you come. Grab a gun. If you've got it.
Where are we going?
We are going
As I,
to
pat
open
myself down.
You remember Myers' room?
And he said, why would you go in there? Did not go so well for me last time.
Henri must believe us, and unfortunately, he's a doubting Thomas.
Alright, so you guys have your guns out and whatever. And Henri approaches the door. Knocks softly.
Steel yourself, Henri. This ain't gonna be pleasant.
Madame Mouse, Henri is here. Madame Mouse, I'm opening the door.
Vyacheslav whispers, enough with your policies, just open the goddamn door, man.
Pulls out the key. Who is holding the lanterns, by the way?
It's
Henri
one.
and then Everett.
Henri and Everett, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Henri hands Daniel the lantern so he can open the door. His hands are visibly shaking at this point.
Doesn't even know what's
really
behind
bad.
there.
I'm kind of cocked and locked, holding the lantern up with my gun up at the same time, pointing
Okay.
towards the entrance.
So he opens the door. The door slides, or the door opens, and you can feel that feeling of chill.
Here we go
Coming
again.
from inside. Except this time you can hear something moving on the inside.
My
So you
immersion.
hear a
Oh shit.
Mrs. Myers, if you're in there, I would stay close to the wall. And I kind of hold my lantern into the room, so I could see in.
So M for Myers.
Is this a male Myers or a female Myers? That's what I'm worried about.
This is Mr. Myers. So he climbs up on the bed. He's like one of these creatures now. And his tongue comes out.
I knew I should have killed him. Who
Mr.
was it that
Myers?
stopped me from killing him?
Henri just totally passes out. Just falls right to the floor.
Shit.
Oh boy.
He needed to see this. Well, at least he did.
Do we need to make a sanity check?
Yeah, and you guys will need to make a sanity roll.
Wait, why did I roll? Oh, there we go. Regular.
Sanity.
Am I making one too?
Thought that's miss at sneak.
Yes. You guys were definitely expecting him to be unconscious.
Oh
Well.
God.
Son of a bitch.
So it looks like Mencap is playing his final hand here. So that's your sanity loss.
Okay. I'm actually okay, I believe.
So not only is the Mr. Myers in there, but you can also hear other things in there as well.
Fuck. Do I see anything now that the lantern's in the room? Like I'm holding it like on the border of the room.
It's hard to tell.
All right. I don't
from
hesitate.
being
I
in the
shoot.
door.
I shoot at Mr. Myers.
Yeah, so before you do that, we got to go in dexterity order. So what is your dex?
I'm at 86.
And Vyacheslav, what's your dex?
50.
And Everett, was your dex?
70.
70. So the order is going to be Daniel, Everett, Vyacheslav, Myers.
Is it?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh!
Nice.
There you go.
Pow.
So it's a deafening roar.
Crack!
And explosion.
I didn't hesitate at all, man. I knew there was some shit in there.
And so he, Myers just kind of like recoils from the blast, but then jumps down off the bunk. It is Everett's turn.
All right. Can I maneuver my way to get a clear shot?
If you push Daniel out of the way.
Vyacheslav and
But don't
Daniel.
push too hard, okay? You
No.
know we take damage now.
I'll be
He'd have to
gentle.
get past both of us.
Yeah, I'm in the back. So I don't know if by the rules I can squeeze by or how tactical this gets.
Well, I tell you what, I can let you just pile in, make a shot with one penalty die. Let's call it that.
All right, out the way. I see that son of a bitch.
It's
Definitely
not.
aim.
Yeah. So roll for your damage.
Cool. There you go.
Okay.
I'm gonna peek in the doorway and I'm gonna shoot, I guess, with a penalty die.
2.
Yes.
One or
Take
two.
two
No, with
penalty
one
dice.
because Everett did get
Two.
in. Everett.
Because you asked for 2, and he said okay. So it's your
Yeah,
own fault.
I'm a generous DM. I would give you 2.
Okay. Well, here goes nothing.
Look at all those dice.
Hey, you made it still.
Yeah,
Yeah, you still
Nice.
did.
Alright, here's damage.
nice.
Oof.
Nice, dude.
So Vyacheslav kind of
It's like-
runs in and he elbows Daniel out of the way and just shoots over Everett's shoulder. And
So it's like,
Ah, my ear.
this thing's hurting, I hope.
so you blast it, and the two shadows, before they dissipate or like go into the shadows, take a parting swipe at Everett.
I dodge.
You can dodge if you'd like. You can attempt to dodge.
No.
That ain't gonna do.
The first
Best time.
shadow does 4 points of damage.
Oh, you're gonna
Okay.
pass out here.
I mean, it wasn't on the
And
first strike.
the second one misses.
Yeah.
How many hit points do you have, Mr. McCrae?
5 out of 9 now.
All right, it is a new round.
Ah.
So, Daniel, you're at the top of the
I
order.
didn't sign up for this shit.
Seeing the shadows kind of scares Daniel a little bit. You know, he's definitely, after being elbowed back and seeing these shadows swipe at Everett, he's a little thrown back. But he's still gonna, you know, take a shot. It's just gonna be a little bit more clumsy because, you know, he's been startled, he's been pushed, and he's definitely, you know, not too happy anymore.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Bam! Alright, blast it. It kind of staggers a little bit, but it keeps moving forward. So, I believe Everett is next.
All right. Everett will.
Now you're in the room with this thing.
Yeah.
And your
Okay.
lantern light is basically keeping the shadow creatures are now pushed into the corners of the room. But you can see them like right at the edge of the shadows, waiting to jump.
Let's see. I think I want to drop the lantern, like not in a way that makes it, you know, I set the lantern down.
Burst into flames?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I set the lantern down. I know all it takes is a kick to get rid of it, but whatever. There's light there, and then I want to back out of the room, if possible.
Okay.
Firing as I do so before I have my friends in between me and Mr. Myers. Okay, so basically,
Okay.
like, you know, set it down, blam, 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 and as I
Yeah.
retreat back out the door.
You're doing a fighting withdrawal.
Yes. Any weird stuff I need to know with the dice?
No, I would say you're fast enough to be able to do both those things.
Cool.
Nice.
Alrighty, there's a
Nice.
regular hit.
Nice.
Another 6 points.
It's Mr. Myers definitely kind of stumbling, but he's still moving forward.
All right, Trevor, come on, buddy.
All right, so this thing is still moving forward.
Yes, this time you only take one penalty die though, because there's only one person in front of you.
Fair enough. All right, well, as I see Everett like coming back and taking a shot, I kind of like aim right over Everett's shoulder again and just go for it.
Nice.
Yeah, you
Hey.
did it.
Oof, 3 damage. So it just clips it like in the shoulder or something.
Yeah.
I accidentally
Not
like
enough.
I imagine what happens is I stumble a little bit on Henri's like foot or something, and then I like give him a swift kick out of the way to like get him out of my way.
Okay, so yeah, this thing is Mr. Myers does not look like he's in good shape right now, but it does manage to get forward enough to take a swipe at Everett.
Dodge.
Come on, dodge it.
Oh,
No.
horrible.
Oh.
No.
And
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
children, for those of you who are watching, invest in dodge.
Oh no.
That just did 9 points of damage.
Ouch. Well, that definitely puts me out.
What you guys see as the thing is kind of like struggling forward, it looks like it can't reach Everett, and it opens its mouth, and this giant tongue comes out, the barbed ends, and it just like grabs his throat.
Nasty.
Okay. Yeah, and then you go down.
Just grabs his throat's gonna rip it out. Oh, sorry.
The children.
Totally. Yeah.
Your 6-year-old is still awake, Ben. What are you doing? Nightmares.
Alrighty, so that brings us back to the top of the order.
All right, I am going to try and use my knife to cut the tongue.
That's what I was gonna do, so good on ya. Oh no, this is so bad.
Fuck.
9.
No, this is
It
really
has
bad.
acid for blood.
This is really, really bad.
Okay, so Everett needs to make a con check.
Yes.
Everett,
Don't
come on.
die.
Also
Don't
not my
die.
strong. Oh.
Oh,
Damn it.
Died.
His throat.
Performing his duties. That's all right.
Vyacheslav, you absolutely are going to have to take a sanity check
God damn it.
with
No.
a penalty die at this point.
Oh,
'Cause You
shit.
just saw 3 people drop.
Wait, 3.
3. I've only seen
Yeah,
one.
you saw Henri.
Okay, Henri's dropped.
Oh, it's only Everett. That's right. Yeah, still make a sanity check before you.
No penalty?
Yeah, no penalty.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
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 So you lose 1 sanity.
God damn it. I'm shooting this thing. I'm fucking shooting it. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Good one.
So, you hit it with a solid hit, like right between the eyes, and it just falls back into the darkness. And we're gonna cut to the other guys now.
Oh,
No!
fucker.
So I can lose another character.
Okay, so it is the top of a new round. So James is faster than both of these things.
Okay. So he is gonna backpedal, while firing, and that door, as he's passing it, he's gonna try and swing that open out into the hallway and use that as a shield or some sort of cover, to keep this
Okay.
thing away from him. So he will fire his Smith & Wesson Schofield.
Nice.
And get a hit.
Good.
Good shot. Maybe not useless after all.
Ah, thank you,
Boom.
Shane.
Oh, nice.
Shane, that's the kindest thing you've ever said to me.
Probably
Alright,
is,
so-
actually.
So his big 44 Schofield comes up and just, deafens
Wha-
everyone.
bam!
Oh, boom! As he's backpedaling and he swings that
Think
door open.
Slams into the wall.
Yep.
Let's say you're here. That one you kind of sling it just as the thing like slams into it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask for you to make an opposed strength roll.
All right.
Ooh.
Like, extreme, baby.
Oh, excellent.
You're just
You're
pissed, man. You're just
Yeah,
like,
it's just pure
Fuck off!
adrenaline. You just got a huge adrenaline dump.
So you're like holding the door shut as it's slamming on the other side.
Nice.
Woman runs off. She's gone. All right, Salvador, make a con check to see if you regain consciousness.
All right, here goes nothing. No.
wah, wah, wah.
Still out. Okay,
Mhm.
what are you gonna do, James?
Fire through the door.
Ooh.
Since I can't, if I let go of the door, this thing's just gonna bum rush me. So I'm just gonna continue to hold the door, and he'll just push his pistol right up against it and just fire around right through it.
Okay.
Mm. Just gets embedded into the door.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to see through the solid wood, what you're doing. So at that moment, you hear a whole mess of rifle fire. Bang, 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 bang. And then the creature's just kind of like, it stops pushing against the, it stops pushing.
All right, he kind of peers around the edge of the door. Pistol still kind of up at the ready position.
And you can see the 4 gendarmes that were employed by the Baron have basically discharged their rifles into both creatures and took them down.
Mm.
So the one who's like their captain or whatever comes over and steps over Everett. One of them stops and is looking at Everett, and it's like, "Monsieur, are you okay? We heard a woman screaming, saying that there was an attack on the train."
Yes, these beasts came out of some of these rooms and attacked us. My friend,
And they,
I think he's dead. Call for a medic.
medic. So they go looking. Where's Henri? Where is Henri?
Oh boy.
Passed out.
I mean, James would know that he is like further down the train, wouldn't he?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go take a look, see if I can find Salvador. I know he was with
Okay.
Edmund when they left, and I'm gonna see if I can check the compartments as I'm making my way down the car there.
Yeah. So when you get to about here, you notice the compartment. It's not locked, so you're able to open it, and you see Salvador basically slumped against the bed,
All right, I'll call
unconscious and bleeding.
out to the gendarme again and say, "Hey, we need a medic in here. I have a wounded man," and actually, I'm pretty heavily wounded as well.
Mhm.
So I'm probably bleeding all over the place, holding my guts in. I'll rush in. Can I attempt some sort of first aid on him to see if I can snap him out of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe my little first aid kit has some smelling salts or something in it.
Yeah, you can use a bonus die for that too.
Okay. Wake up, man!
No.
Hooray! Oh wait,
Do I get to
He's
make
out.
this check?
He's like the worst medic ever. He's like useless.
Do I get to make a con
Well,
check in this?
He's used to unmedicing people. That's why.
Yeah.
It's really not as. He makes people
Yeah,
unwell.
he studied the human body so he can figure out how to damage it more, not how to fix it.
Like, question is, do I get to make a con check or something like that?
I'm going to allow you one more con check. And after that, you're going to need medical assistance. Otherwise, you've lost too much blood.
Yeah, no, I'm completely pass the fuck out.
Oh,
Well, at least I'm not dead yet.
so I've resorted to like slapping him in the face and yelling his name. Salvador, wake up!
Yeah, so
Medicing is
You know, like as you slap him.
So you hear the gendarmes talking and with the train personnel, and you hear that there was another attack in the other train car as well. So now it's like just chaos. People are like peeking out of their compartments and just like screaming, and it's just complete chaos now.
all right. Well, he kind of slumps back against the bed there on the floor next to Salvador and tries to stop any bleeding that he can, and then he'll reload his pistol because who knows what the else is coming down the halls here.
Okay, so let's cut back to the other sleeping car now. So it was Vyacheslav who took out Myers, right?
Uh-huh.
So the creature that was Myers finally just like drops and doesn't get back up again. And you're just, locked in that position. You're just
I
so
drop
freaked out.
like when I take that last shot and I see it fall over. Vyacheslav like stumbles backwards over Henri and like lands back against the wall of the train, and he just looks at Daniel like in disbelief. He can't even say anything.
Are the shadow
Yeah,
creatures still attacking us?
No, they're inside the room. They're pushed back by the lantern light. Everett very smartly left the lantern on the floor.
So is Everett dead?
So
I am. I was dead.
Very much so.
He's dead.
so he's kind of like holding the door open.
Man, I had one chance to save you. I fucked it.
He's dead, Jim.
I
He's dead.
fucked it.
The dice gods are cruel.
It is what it is.
So
The dice
the
gods
medics
tell a
are now
good
running
story.
around. It's complete chaos on the thing. They, someone brings smelling salts to Henri, kind of like wakes up. I'm gonna need for Vyacheslav to make a con check.
That heavy Russian constitution.
Yeah.
So you avoid not throwing up.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's seen a lot of stuff. I mean, living in Russia isn't exactly pleasant, even in the Tsarist times. But, and having already seen this kind of thing already, I mean, seeing the doctor's face having been ripped off, he held back his vomit then. By God, he's holding back his vomit now.
So
yeah, he's just-
Daniel, he's
Yeah,
Sorry,
well,
finish.
Vyacheslav actually, like, once he, like, kind of looks over at Daniel and, like, realizes what's happened, he scrambles over to Everett and, like starts shaking Everett, like, come on, comrade, wake up! And he's just, like, shaking him, and he's, like patting his face a little bit. He's pretty tore up by this.
While he's doing that, Everett, sorry, he's dead. Daniel is, he's kind of like occupied by thought. He goes and he grabs the keys that Henri dropped, and he makes his way towards Menkov's room.
Oh boy.
I am going to unlock the door and go open the door with my lantern in my other hand. After I unlock it, I would drop the keys and then redraw my pistol with the lantern.
Okay. His compartment is empty.
I like, fuck.
Like, how empty are we talking here? Like, empty, like he's not even on the train?
He's just not in that room.
He's not in the compartment.
But his stuff is in there.
He didn't, like, steal the sheets or anything.
Maybe the soaps, but not the sheets.
So I kind of let out a heavy sigh, a sigh of like defeat, and I kind of sheath my pistol.
Yeah. So now,
then-
the train's doctor's basically got his hands full at this point. So everyone is kind of brought into the dining car that's wounded, or is shaken up, so they can get treated. And he's basically giving orders, and they're boiling water and tending to wounds. So who of you who's still alive is wounded? Everybody, correct?
No.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I've taken
I wasn't
Vyacheslav
wounded
has
in
not
that
taken a
fight.
single hit.
Okay, cool. So, you
Knock on wood.
are. I would say that you're free to walk the train, but I mean, it's probably not a great idea at this point.
I mean, at this point,
before I-
Vyacheslav is sitting with. I mean, I imagine they just have the bodies of James and Everett covered up somewhere, and Vyacheslav is probably just sitting
they're on
there
a
with them.
table. Yeah, they're basically on the floor of the dining room with a sheet.
Before I
thrown
left
over
for the
them.
dining room, I would have liked to have searched Menkov's room real quick.
Yeah, you can do spot hidden.
Oh, that's not the right button.
Hey. Hard success.
What are you looking for?
So similar to what he had hidden in the other room, he had a hidden book under the pillow.
Mhm.
I'm looking for any artifacts he might have hidden because I knew he had, several fezzes on board. He had the book, so I'm assuming he hid something else in his room, and that's what I'm looking for.
Yes. You find a letter that he has written to someone in English, and it's written to my dearest Nisra.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
So the train limps into Budapest station. So Henri approaches Daniel, and he says, Monsieur, I'm very sorry for the loss of your friends. I don't know what you'd like to do with the bodies. While we're in Budapest, we can leave them here, or we can have them interned and brought to Constantinople if you prefer.
I'm sure Edmund's family's in London. Is there any way to bring him here? I don't know the American very well. I'll leave that up to Vyacheslav or the rest of the group. Or I'm sure Edmund's former groom, I don't know what you might call him, might have an opinion on the matter. Knew him a lot
his
better than
butler,
I.
Nigel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nigel doesn't know yet.
Oh boy.
I'm sure that Edmund has enough money in his coffers to afford to send Everett's body back to America where it belongs. Never should have been here in Europe anyways. Too rough for an American. He just kind of
Sure.
he just kind of puts his head down in his hands and
And James, meanwhile, is just like downing brandy in the dining car.
Yeah, and kind of
'Cause
recovering from his wound, and
It's gonna. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say just kind of sitting with Edmund's body because he was kind of a friend of his for a long period and worked for him, so kind of watching over him and suffering through his wound.
It's gonna be on James to break the news to Nigel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
So
Well, I imagine that I'm still past the fuck out, right?
Or is he
you're
dead?
receiving medical attention. I don't think so. You didn't lose that many hit points, right, Neil?
No, I still have 4 left.
I would say that you're slipping in and out of consciousness.
Well, I mean, considering that I've been slipping in and out of consciousness, like, the most coherent thing that I will say will be, the Baron's daughter. Baron's daughter. Like, he seems to be kind of half, worried, but also half, like, like he's closing and, opening his fist, like, I don't know whether I should be worried about that person or strangle her. Like, this is about as much sense as he makes for the time where he's, slipping in and out.
Henri says, I don't know what he's referring to. The Baron apparently has left the shrine, as many people have left the shrine on this trip. I'm afraid not too many people will be seeing it through to its final destination. But as they say, the show must go on.
I
Who
need
says
you to
that?
tell me something, Henri.
Freddie Mercury says that.
I would say Vyacheslav would definitely approach Henri in a more private manner, and very quietly say to him, Henri, I need you to tell me a few things. You saw what was in that room, correct?
Not just the room. There's corpses of those things lying around. We've killed 3.
Yeah, we monsieur. This most scary thing I've ever seen. I was in the wall,
I was right.
Which were
Then I say to him, and another thing that I need to know from you. Is Menkev still on board this train?
No, monsieur. I think he slipped off when the Shran approached it. Crap, I just said where we are. Budapest.
Mhm.
I forget even where we are, so besides myself. We're going to be here for a couple of hours, I'm afraid, till the authorities show up and sort to the bottom of this mess. I have a bit of news for you, though. The Baron left the book and the fez in his stateroom. We might
In
want to
the
put it
room
in the
alone.
safe before the authorities
no kidding.
return.
I will inform Daniel immediately.
I would say that book is now rightfully yours. You have earned it.
Vyacheslav clasps Henri on the shoulder, pulls him very close, and he kind of whispers in his ear, Henri, you are a good friend, and I very highly recommend if you can get off of this train, you do so.
This is my shrine, monsieur. Puts a cigarette, like he's so beside himself, he like puts a cigarette in one of the tables, like burning it into the table. It's my shrine. Nobody kicks Henri off his shrine. Nobody.
Yeah, Henry.
Fucking Henri. Badass here, except for the
hell
part
yeah.
where he passed out. Ugh.
Yeah. I gave Edmund a lot of trouble, bless his soul, and passing out.
Well, if you're not going to leave the train, keep yourself armed, because I am sure that now You are a target.
Mm,
Your life is in peril, friend. I think Edmund
I
may
understand.
have had a weapon that we could get to you if James does not have any issue with it, of course. You were in the war, you know how to shoot.
Thank
You can't say
Thank you,
no.
monsieur. I accept your kindness.
Takes a swig of vodka.
Coca Vaca.
Yeah.
So, James, basically, what Henri wants to do is get all the bodies off the train.
Yep.
So that they can be dealt with locally. So, Nigel's probably going to want to stay behind as well.
Yep.
Once he learns. But, James is going to have to break the news to him.
Okay. So I'll kind of seek him out and bring him the bad news, I guess. Is he?
So as soon when you like knocked on the door and he opens the door, I mean he heard the gunshots and everything.
Yeah. And I've got like bloody bandages wrapped around my torso. My gun is sitting in its holster, like out in the open.
Master Ambrose, that bastard did something stupid, didn't he? Stupid and heroic.
He did, Nigel. He did. And he lost his life for it. He paid most dearly. Our friend is gone. I'm sorry to bring this news to you.
You seem very smug about it.
I mean, I guess he wasn't expecting death, he was just expecting injury.
Well, it's really sad.
Ambrose
it's kind of like
doesn't get shaken that. I don't think Ambrose gets shaken that easily.
No,
it's sad. It's kind of like a movie
It's
moment.
a bit of a tough.
Because the whole time, I mean, if you remember, Nigel was warning Edmund. He was like, "These people are gonna get you into deep shit."
Dude, this is like straight out of Batman Dark Knight Returns, man. Like Alfred, he's like, "I'm sorry, I failed you." And then we're gonna go
Oh
see,
yeah,
like,
Nigel despises the other investigators, I would say. He could definitely hold you responsible. So he knows what he needs to do. He is English after all. So stiff upper lip and all that. So he'll take care of making sure that all of Edmund's personal effects leave the train at Budapest and make it back to the UK, as well as Everett's body. He says he'll make sure it gets to where it goes as well.
Yep. He still has relatives in Bournemouth.
Right. And Henri's just like, we're going to burn the other bodies.
Everett?
They can't be allowed to live.
Oh, okay.
No. Your Edmund is paying for Everett's trip back to America.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the creatures they want burned. Pardon me. So
Photography was a thing back then, right?
it might have, was it in its infancy or was it full blown at that point?
It was full blown.
Not full blown, but it
Okay.
definitely wasn't. Like it wasn't as primitive. Like you didn't have to go through long exposure at that point.
Okay.
It's just
well,
more like the
that's good
thing, you
enough.
know, like you put that.
Would the government take pictures of this shit?
Yes, and I'm sure they would then suppress all of it right after.
Yeah.
Kind of like with the Spanish flu. Like, you know, there's no flu.
Yeah. This is an isolated incident. They're not really sure what happened. But there have been foreign nationals that have been killed on board, so anything that the surviving members took part in was basically self-defense. So Henri made sure that all gets hand-waved away. And meanwhile, you're able to secure the book again in the fez and put it back in the safe.
Oh, we don't have to do like a thing. We just get it.
Well, the Baron is nowhere to be found.
A dick.
And his
His
daughter's gone as
daughter
well.
is nowhere to be found.
I bet you she took him
They
back.
left with Mencalf, I bet.
Yeah, she probably drugged him and dragged him off the train.
Yeah.
Or Mencalf, yeah. Trevor's probably right. Mencalf got to him.
Maybe. Or she managed to get to her dad.
It's
That
a
was
good
her
bet.
goal.
He still has K-Pop with him.
Yeah.
This is all
got the
one
mouth.
big fuckhole.
I mean, the question is, should we remain on the train? Should we try and track them? What should we do at this point?
Don't ask.
Well,
We should figure that out ourselves.
We have the fez. We have the book. We have a fez,
Well-
right? We don't have more than one fez at this point.
We have
You
2.
actually,
Actually, we
You
have
have
all the
three.
fezzes from the.
you have all
4
4. If
Assuming
you
we would have gathered the
keep
fezzes,
the
which I
others.
can't imagine we wouldn't.
I can't
have
imagine
gathered
we
them.
would.
Right.
Because once
What
these
is,
things die, the fez comes off.
Yeah.
One fez
Well,
to
into the
rule
box it
them
goes.
all. One fez to bind them.
It's totally out of order. You're fired.
To bring
Bring
them
my
all,
immersion.
and in the darkness bind them.
Immersion officially broken.
In the
Yes,
land of
But you know it
Turkey.
in Mordor.
I mean,
Or
you
black
know, like
speech.
there's now that I think about it,
Oshkosh,
there isn't much different.
Nabore.
Oshkosh
Oshkosh,
bagosh.
Menkaf, Morgoth.
Das Gravatuk, Abrzum Ishi Krim Patul.
There you go. Hey,
Major
hey.
nerds in this group.
Snaps for Daniel.
You
Shane.
think that's nerdy? I used to know the entire Skyrim theme song in Dovahkiin language, dragon language. I can
That's
sing the
nerdy.
entire thing in dragon.
That's nerdy.
Now that's advanced nerdism.
I never pressed any girls with that, but oh boy, the guys at the club were impressed.
So, what would you guys like to do at this point?
Do we want to cut it here? Because, I mean, John is sitting
to you
here,
guys.
no character at this point.
John.
James
I
is...
mean, not
We could pick
not in
up some.
terms of tonight. I mean, in
Mm.
terms of your characters, do you want to press on to Constantinople?
James
Not the other
absolutely
fez
wants
and the
to press
books.
on.
Vyacheslav now has a vendetta.
Yeah. So does
The
James.
mission
I mean,
is gone. It's more about
murder.
killing those who have slain his comrades.
Daniel's not so eager as the other two. He's he's a man who works for a living. Most blatant sense of the word. He gets paid to go places, and the Baron who was supposed to be paying them is now apparently the bad guy. He's not too eager to keep going, and he's developed a fear of the shadow creatures. So he's no longer eager to stay on the train at all. So he's kind of, he kind of wants to go home, but he's not too sure about it. So
I
Well,
mean,
now would be a good time for him to bail.
yeah, if he wanted to, but maybe one of the other characters could persuade him to stay on board. He's kind of, drinking, holding his wounds, because he's still hurt from.
So your options for people to convince you to stay on board are James, Vyacheslav, and Salvador. And I'm not sure Salvador is coherent enough to make an impassioned argument
will
to you.
definitely-
Well, then you guys
Try.
gotta make a go at it, or I'll have to roll a new character. 'Cause fuck, Daniel is
I
not
mean,
in
I
a
don't
good
know, like-
mood.
I agree. This
Yeah,
is
like-
not what Daniel signed on for.
This is not what Daniel signed up for.
I mean, hey,
He's a
here's the
thief.
thing, man. Play your character. If this is where Daniel signs off, this is where Daniel signs
Dude,
off.
he's a thief. He does not pick sides. He just does what he's paid, and he is not paid to fight monsters. And after his employer left him, he's had enough of it.
Now,
Yeah, I
if
would
you do
say-
leave, though, Vyacheslav would be very scornful towards you about it. Sort of like you're abandoning the cause. You are only in it for the money, just as any other man of wealth, any other bourgeois dog would be. It is a shame. You won't even go out to avenge your comrades, the men who joined onto this job with you. They fought for you, by the way.
The men I knew for a couple days, by the way.
And those men
I mean,
probably would have died for you. In fact, 2 of them did.
can I
So
pipe
just
in at the
remember
moment
that,
since
and
you-
I hope when you sleep at night, you remember their faces always.
Can I pipe up at this moment, in one of my bouts of lucidity? I think by now we've all been marked. I think there's walking out of this. It's only fighting or dying it. We've all been involved in this mess. We only get one choice now. Press on. They'll find us anyway.
It's a good point, Daniel. Who's to say that they won't kill you? And who's to say that you don't know too much, huh? You know what happened to me when I knew too much in Russia, right? They threw me out. I was lucky.
You could be right. There are people in England I care for. I'd hate for something bad to happen to them.
Then carry on, man. Take this fight to them. Don't flee.
I don't know. I can't fight any more of those shadow creatures. Evil. Can't do it.
They're terrible to behold. Well, what's going to happen
Can't
if we
fight
don't
anything
complete
that
our mission?
bullets pass through.
You know, Daniel, and Vyacheslav just kind of he just scratches his stubble and says, I do not know what all of this leads to. If you want to leave, leave. It is no issue. But, at the end of this road, what if there is something much bigger than all of us? Much bigger than this train, much bigger than these countries here in Europe. What if this is a plague, friend? A plague that is controlled by men. Would not be good in my book. And
it has to burn.
I think it will reach you. It will reach you regardless, whether it be in a week from now, years from now, when you're lying on your deathbed. I have a feeling if we don't stop this, it will come to that, most assuredly. But if you must leave, please, do what you need to do. Takes another swig of vodka. I mean, and he's in a drunken stupor at this point. I mean, he's not wasted to where he can't make coherent thoughts, but he's just mumbling and slurring.
Laid it on the guilt trip.
Yeah, Daniel takes another drink of his brandy he's got in front of him. You'd probably all die without me anyway.
I will die anyway.
Who will
we'll probably
break
all
into...
die, my friend, but at least we'll die together for a good cause.
Yes, well, Ambrose, you might be right. I'll stay with you till Constantinople, but after we get there, I'm heading back. This is beyond me, friends.
Vyacheslav clasps your shoulder very firmly, in a drunk firmness, he doesn't know he's quite holding you so tightly. And he kind of burps a little bit and says, "We are glad to have you, Daniel. I count you as a close friend of mine, bastard as you are. You are a good man in my book, and I hope one day you will change your thought process, and I think today is the start of the way you think being changed." And at that, he stands up and says, "Who is going to stay with Cordoba here through the night? Because I do not want him left alone. Because of those shadow things, we do not know if there are any of those still about. Perhaps we all stay here together. Fuck it." He says, "Henri, bring us lanterns. We will need to fill the room with light.
And more drinks.
And much more to drink."
Yeah, Henri'd already done that with the light, because this doctor needs to be able to see. Mm-hmm. And
that helps.
And Henri says the train is about to get ready to make way. So, if you have any last words to say to your friends before they leave, now's the time to do it.
God damn. Yeah.
To Edmund and to Everett, they may have been terrible shots, but they were good friends.
Vyacheslav would probably, yeah. He'd raise a toast. He'd walk over to Edmund's body, and assuming that they haven't covered it like completely, like he would just kind of shake Edmund's dead hand in a drunken stupor, of course, and be like, "It was an honor working with you, friend. I wave you off," and then walks over to Edmund or Everett and just looks at him and says, "You fucking Americans." You
Awesome.
crazy fucking Americans. I think you have Russians beat. To you, Everett. Takes another swig of vodka and goes and sits down.
Nice.
So the bodies are removed from the train. Nigel
Salvador
basically
does
wants
have
to
one
have
last
nothing to do
word
with
for
you.
them before before they take them. Like he's still gonna be like laying on the ground or whatever, and like he's just gonna look at them in his half-conscious state and be like, "See you soon."
Ooh, that's a dark note.
Yeah. So with that, the train starts rolling towards its final destination.